What's up everybody, Frank Valkyria, welcome to the channel. Today with Forrest from Orias. Let's go together, do a little bit of commentary over news that we care about. Today we have some revelation apparently here from the Joe Rogan podcast. This is a clip where we have Jacques Vallée as a guest. There is reporting some juicy news apparently because two dudes like us we have to comment about. Anyway, I already followed a little bit of the some of the clips in this week also regarding those monoliths that they're appearing somewhere in the Nevada desert, and now the monolith disappeared and appeared somewhere else, but that I assume it's something that what was that? No, this is a reaction. No. So incredibly organized,
Reactive.
this man.
So reactive.
Those are the monoliths right here. So they were explaining why those monoliths appeared and then disappeared in the Nevada desert. It
Out
might
of a
be, some
sudden.
people speculate, it might be like a prop from a TV series, that they've done in the past. So sometimes just was left there. Or maybe it's like an artist,
Could be.
just for the sake of. And now you're seeing those things appearing in other places. And I think, of course, because of the internet, probably it's not that difficult to make those shapes, especially of this size. So, Sumerian. This looks like your beard. If you go in profile, here we go. We have it right here. We have it right here. The descendant from the
That
Anunnaki.
dude.
He has
They
also
were
a
way
pine
taller,
cone.
I guess.
He has a pine cone.
Hmm.
It's like, you see this? You see this?
It's
Good.
good.
So anyway, we saw some of those monoliths. Honestly, I believe they probably are. They have more to do with the movie or whatever than
Probably an ox.
than being left by some humans. But here we have this piece of the podcast that is very interesting. Let's listen
Pretty
together.
startling stuff. So I'll read it. In the last 48 hours, the public has learned of two stunning incidents captured on film by U.S. Navy carrier pilots earlier this year. One of the cases features a photo of a bizarre flying sphere and a black cube inside that is identical to dozens of other reports by Navy pilots. These strange objects have been shadowing East Coast naval ops since 2015. They sometimes maneuver in formation and have occasionally been reported achieving supersonic speeds. The other incident produced a stunning, detailed photograph of a massive triangular-shaped vehicle that emerged from the ocean and flew vertically straight up and out of sight just past a Navy F-18 operating off the U.S. Aircraft carrier. These iPhone photos taken by the pilots should be released to the public, as there are no sources and methods to protect, and the national security benefits of raising awareness regarding this issue vastly outweigh any conceivable benefit from concealing the information. It is hard to believe that in the face of such radical and incredible technology within our vast Defense Department, we only have a so-called task force consisting of two individuals with no budget who are still being stiff-armed for access to relevant and timely information by the Air Force and other security organizations.
All right. So anyway, this official or whatever body or organization here within the U.S. government has released this message. I also pulled up a video here where probably some of those incidents that they were talking about took place. This has already been out for several years. But again, what he was describing in the so-called folklore of ufologists, like the spheres and the triangle, the thing coming out of water, it's sort of well-known stuff, or at least people have reported those things many times. I've been a seaman myself, and you always have people telling you strange stories. You know, they've seen something in the sky in the middle of the ocean or whatever. So those reports, they're quite common. Even I think there is even report from Cristoforo Colombo, which they say that they saw some lights or whatever.
Oh,
I have
wow.
to check the sources of that kind of stuff. But apparently those naval UFOs, they've been around for quite some time. So it's in line with the folklore. And it would just make sense if there is a photography finally to validate those things. You know, that means that those crazy people were
So
right all
basically
along.
what they were saying here then, this news is being released not so long ago.
Yeah.
And this have nothing to do with this video was around in was shot in Puerto Rico in 2013, but it's very similar
Yeah, I
to
don't know.
this one.
I don't know if it's exactly this one or it's similar to this one.
No, because for what I understood, they didn't release those pictures yet.
Yeah, the picture we don't know. There's the video Joe Rogan. It's pretty recent. I think it was last week or so. So maybe we should do a research, Google search to see if they did or probably not. Otherwise, those pictures will be already somehow. I mean,
I even though
I
I
would
mean
have noticed. I don't know. Look at
with
this
all
thing.
the hoaxes and new videos that you have of UFO every day, they may camouflage themselves with all the fake news that you have. So
Yeah, in fact, I have to say I did not know of this video. Like this one. This
Yeah,
is,
me neither.
you know, like I'm like, wow. I saw the gimbal video of the captain that was also on the Joe Rogan podcast that he described the event that took place, I think, in 2003, and the footage was released just recently. I don't know, like last year or whatever, where you see similar things, like you know the jet plane, the pilot, which is trying to lock onto this TikTok type of shape thing, or this other wobbling.
I mean that one
UFOs.
you can define the shape of
Yeah.
the object clearly. In this one, it's not very clear like what this thing is. The only thing that is clear is being shot from a plane.
Well, look, you see, he's flying over. Like you see, that part was like over a freeway.
Yeah.
So it's also quite low in altitude. It's like literally over buildings. See, this is, you know, you see the cars there. This sort of type of like night camera, night mode camera. I wonder actually if it was night or not. So it's really strange stuff. I was totally not aware of those videos. Like Forrest said, there's so many stuff out there, both on, you know, it's just a dot, it's always a dot, and everybody puts it online, so it becomes like almost impossible to decipher between like a more legit source. This looks like pretty legit, I have to say. I don't know the freaking
Because
shape
every
of this
time
thing.
you have like military sources, you know,
Yeah.
like this for me is way more legit than just a guy who can like do like a Photoshop a
Yeah,
picture
yeah.
and pretend that he saw something. I mean,
Yeah, this must be also not a military plane.
they wouldn't be that interested in this object if
Yeah.
it wasn't out of the ordinary for the
Yeah.
for the militaries. You know, they wouldn't follow this object for so long. You know.
It's like to see what the heck is that.
Yeah.
So it's split in two. You know, there's also we gotta cover this also maybe next time, because there are so many real events of which they've been recorded, and they're not incredibly popular, or they're forgotten very quickly because of the news cycle and the way things work, and of course also with the fact that nowadays, you know, anything that has to do with aliens and UFO, it's being mocked so much that, you know, it becomes part of the realm of, by default, of science fiction or wishful thinking, or, you know, you must be kind of nuts to believe in this stuff. So there's so much mockery about it that it becomes by default by anybody hard to take anybody seriously when they talk about this stuff. But I don't know if you're familiar with this phenomenon in Norway, I think, of those spheres.
Yep.
Which, you know, they float and they've been also recorded. I don't know what the heck they are. It's like sort of
And there are so
plasma
many
energy.
sources also. So many people saw that, and you have so many pictures and videos, and then you start to think, okay, this is probably, if it's an hoax,
Yeah.
it's not photoshopped. You know, this
Yeah.
is being taped like
Yeah.
from somewhere. It may be like, maybe have another explanation for this phenomenon. Maybe it's not like a
Yeah.
spacecraft, but it's just like somebody says the reflection of the sun because in a certain position of the planet, blah blah blah. But I mean, you can see the video is legit because that's a lot of people seeing that in that area of the world. So
Yeah, this is the other footage that Fraser, Captain Fraser, I forgot his name exactly. It was also on the Job podcast show, and this is part of the video. And of course, it's the interesting part is that they lock on this thing and they find out about the speed that it's going is going against the wind. The speed is remarkable, the way accelerated and maneuvers. So all things that, of course, from a standpoint of a professional pilot that recognizes what it takes to fly actually in the atmosphere, you know, it will pique his curiosity and go like, what the heck is this thing doing, you know?
yeah.
So this fascinating footage that was released in 2003. But the thing that actually I love the most, I don't know if you also followed the podcast of Joe Rogan, is where he says, the Captain Fraser says that there is more of this that was caught on
unpublished,
radar, that there was an entire formation, and probably we're not gonna get to see that part of the info of the footage or the data, but actually there were like a formation of those things.
But that's pretty weird, you know. So why do you release like this video at all if there is another part where you have more like more flying object? You know, this is very controversial. You know, it's very hard to find out if the source is like legit or not, because a lot of people, of course, would like to speculate for their own advantage. You know, but these things, when I see like the military. Getting so interested into these things, they know what an helicopter is. They know what the new technologies are. They wouldn't be that interested if something is not that strange for them. If it's that strange for them, what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know if they're doing it. Sometimes, like you also have this idea, and this is absolute speculation, of course. This is just us talking here. But you wonder, like, the US, other countries, the Russians, whatever, they must have compiled so much infos, whatever evidence it's been available or has arrived here, or whatever kind of shape or form, they must have it. You know what I mean? So whether they will release it or not soon, we don't know, but most likely they have stuff that we are not seeing yet. So the question is sometimes also, if they're releasing those things a little bit a step at a time to create also like a slow awareness into people to sort of help the transition perhaps. And of course we end up in the conspiratorial stuff, of course. But in a way it will make also sense because like politicians, which they are always like 10 steps ahead of their thinking, like they never do nothing for free. They're always saying something or doing something, keeping in mind that perhaps in 4 years they will run, they will do something, and then 4 years before they said this nice thing, and they were the ones standing on the right side or whatever of things. So and you would think that they did it because of morality, but maybe they also did it like 50% because they knew that in 5 years they will run. So
for their own advantage, of course.
Yeah.
I didn't know that a politician has morality.
Yeah, like the whole point I was trying to make exactly that. It's like there's always a motive, an agenda, and I have the feeling that this could be the case also for those things. They might end
Very
up,
much.
They might know stuff, they know what they have to do, but they also probably know it's like, okay, let's take time into.
I have not much to gain of giving this information now. Let's wait when I will need like some advantage out of this. Yeah.
Or also, honestly, also because we are dumb. We are just freaking dumb. The way we also have like foreign relationship with each other countries. You know what I mean? So we
Instead
still
of
have
cooperating, you know, and use like the all our powers that to gain a better goal, we're just like too busy like fighting each other. So
nobody's being is like sort of willing like to share certain information if sharing that information probably undermines some type of advantage that a country leader of a country might have, you know, on the other. So there is also that to keep in mind. And but the fact is this stuff is coming out. So whether it's because they're like, hey, you know what, oh, what can we do? It's like here, like make up your mind, you know, or they have a plan. These things are here. So we
best
have
case scenario is like this galactic organization
Yes.
thing exists and is pressing them like people have to know, let
Yeah.
them know little by little. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, this is everything is a hoax and nothing exists. You know?
Yeah, of course, it's true. Man, I have so many questions about this Galactic Federation.
Man.
You know, about this guy from Israel releasing this news, telling that President Trump knows about those federal, like Galactic Federation living on Mars with U.S. scientists. I mean, it sounds too good to be true. Sounds freaking fantastic. And I'm like, where are the pictures?
Show me
Where
the
are
proofs.
the pictures? Huh?
No pictures yet.
Do they drink coffee on the Federal Federation, like whatever federation?
Federal Galactation.
The Federal Galactation. I want to know. I want to know what kind of drink they have after they've done a day of work. If they drink at all, or
If
they
they
just go
work
like
at all,
this.
maybe they're so advanced they don't even work anymore. Man.
Maybe they just absorb moist through their finger. One gigantic finger. They go like this, and they absorb.
They're done, you know, for the day.
And they're done. So
Yeah, it would be awesome to know at this point. Yeah, but I think in the next time we're probably gonna see more and more of these. Probably more and more of the old footage they're gonna be declassified.
like this one that is from 2003, the one that we were looking that it's trying to zoom in
Yeah.
on the object, on the UFO. It's actually from 2003, so it's already like 17-year-old footage, and you just won that. You see, it was on this show here, Fravor, David Fravor, Commander David Fravor.
Commander.
Wow.
Nice.
I mean, it takes also a lot of guts from ex-military, you know, military, probably is in, like a retired military, to come forward and disclose those things, because there must be a protocol. So first of all, means he can probably do it. You know, you can talk about it. Okay, the footage was already declassified, so was already probably safe because it was in the end of the media. But still, that doesn't mean that they let the person, you know, like that was there talk about it. So the fact that he can go talk about it is also a good sign. And also takes courage because, like we said many times, you know, you get ridiculed, very easily ridiculed when you associate yourself with this type of subjects. So it takes also guts, and also makes you believe even more the story, you know, like you go like, why would a guy like this go through the whole shebang when there is a risk also of putting in jeopardy your legacy as a pilot, as a military, you know what I mean? Like
You can basically
Yeah.
ruin your name, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
A long career like can be ruined just because you said something that people are not ready to hear.
Yeah.
That's pretty true. But yeah, when I see this kind of like the military
with all
plane
the
things,
data
those
and
are the
stuff.
ones. Yeah, those are the ones that I'm like, okay, and that's some truth into this. Why are they so like interested in following this object? You know.
But you know, it's funny because there is also a lot of times we forget that there could be all kinds of stuff out there, just literally outside our atmosphere, because the fact that we see images from the up down from a space station usually, or a satellite, you know, which usually are filtered images that they go through the just few channels available, which is either NASA or probably some kind of private company that works for NASA or some satellites, whatever. Not everybody has access to those things, you know? And what you can see with your own eyes, it's very little.
Yeah.
So either with a telescope, even if you have a good telescope, an object that it's like, let's say 20 meters, that it's flying at 250 kilometers up there, you just don't see it.
Yeah.
You have just absolutely no idea what can be going around, and you don't even have to leave the planet, even right here, you know? Like this planet is so big, so large that, you know, a certain distance, whatever, you cannot make up a plane for something else. So there's just no way of knowing, you know, even in the depth of the ocean or something. Like there's so much stuff that it's unreachable to us that there's still
They should make that with better sight, man.
yeah, also that, but also like if you think that they're still finding out today, like with the radar penetration, they just released an image now of some other bigger cities in Maya ruins or whatever, you know, because there are those areas which we just don't go.
Yeah.
You know, like
So inaccessible.
yeah, it's inaccessible. So either you fly on top, but nobody's going or checking. And with this radar penetration, they're finding out that there are entire cities under the forest. And this is just also another testament to the fact that there's still so much to discover of our own history and what is probably available here if we go look, you know? That we don't even have to leave the planet, perhaps, to find more clues about stuff. I mean, this is a freaking like... this is all the same things, like, or is also something else? No. He's just going through. He's just going through it. A clip. Just explaining probably the details of every.
It's amazing how many of these videos you have around, you know, and a lot of them, of course, now everybody has access to a very good camera, you know, like in now modern phones and people has, you know, you have cameras then 20 times better than the movie cameras like of 10, 15 years ago. So everybody can just grab their phone and record something. So I think in the next time we're gonna have more and more. Of course, you're always gonna have a lot of hoaxes and people then they publish fake news, you know. But maybe in all of these, some of them are like real, you know. Some of them are like legit.
Oh, 100%, for sure.
And there is more chance now to find out because the more the technology goes on, the more like the world is basically being recorded all the time. There is chance, you know, that anybody can record any possible moment.
It's still difficult because even the unfortunate nature of photography is that either with a phone or also with a good camera, if you have an object that is just further away of the capability of your zoom lens, you know, so you're always gonna have the dot, you know.
You're always gonna end with something that is not clear. Yeah.
If it's gonna be a night, and of course you need to have like still a pro grade camera with a good ISO, with a good sensor that, you know, records fast at night, you know, with a fast lens, you know, people which they are in the know-how of photography, they know what I'm talking about. So already still with the phone, you try to capture something at night, even if you have a good phone of today, it's still going to be a little bit difficult, you know? So literally has to be like 100 meters from you. Yeah. You know what I mean? To get some kind of detail. And unfortunately, so far, has never happened. I mean, there's another event which you probably, we cut it short this time, but we will talk about it, about the Phoenix light. I don't know if you remember this phenomenon. And like sometimes I wonder that something like that happened today, because that's exactly the type of phenomenon that with today technology we will have a better understanding, because
And you still have a lot of videos, even when did it happen, like in the 80s or in the 90s, and
in the 90s, in the
in the
mid
90s,
90s,
and
yeah.
you already have a lot of footage. Basically, I think is the most recorded like incident
Yeah,
with
yeah,
UFO in the
yeah.
history of the world.
But also one of the most view in recent history. There are the most witnesses.
Yeah, people
You know?
calling police like like repeatedly, like I don't know, for
Hundreds
3
times, like,
days
yeah.
in a row. The police were like receiving calls from basically everyone in the area saw this thing, and there was like even now I think you can see then the camera is not the ones that we have nowadays. It's not gonna be clear as the daylight, but the more we go on with technology, the more like this stuff is gonna jump out. You know, if
But
it's
the thing that is also less known about the Phoenix incident, it's also that it's actually the second event that was recorded, not the first one that majority of people saw also and reported, which is like this V formation, this gigantic ship that seemed like to basically obscure the sky, a clear sky that was flying over the area, and that people they saw this V, this
and
gigantic
they said
V.
that it almost felt like it was made of some watery substance, and it had like these lighting orbs here and
Yes,
there, and
exactly.
that's weird, man. That thing was miles big.
Must have been really big people. That's what they reported. And with the phone, that would have been very interesting to see now. Like literally, like, because at the time, still you have to think that having a VHS camera or a high height camera, those family camera of the time, which were available, but not everybody always was walking around with
Yeah.
one. You know what I mean? Like, you had to run into the house or whatever. So we really like we have any footage of the second event, but sooner or later something like that might happen again.
I seriously hope it happens before I die.
Oh yeah,
Like, sometimes I think this thing, and then the day after I die, then like the world government are gonna be like, okay guys,
Here
we're
we
gonna
go.
tell you the truth, and I'm like, damn,
Forrest died. Okay, let's release
we can tell you everything now.
everything now. We can finally do it. No, I think we're in a good time. I think we live in exciting time in the way that there is a lot of technology advancement. There is a lot of to look forward to, like truly on a breakthrough moment in terms of humanity. Like really, we're probably pushing through some major events here. And if the guy is right, maybe they're starting to show this stuff. The Israeli guy, if he's
Just
right,
to prepare us. Yeah.
maybe it's like, okay, the Federation is going like, okay, push quick. We gotta accelerate the script here. There is a meteor coming. We have to make. Can you
Those
imagine?
silly monkeys have to know the truth, man.
They have to know the truth. The speaking monkey, like Tom Waits,
Monkeys.
like Tom Waits said, we're just monkeys with guns. So that's exactly probably what they're thinking of us, the aliens. So like, we gotta tell them, otherwise they're gonna see the tsunami all of a sudden. We gotta bring them here, and they're like terraforming Mars or some other planet. It makes sense. That's why Elon Musk. It's like we said before. We knew it. We knew it. Man, makes me want to see like Men in Black.
Elon Musk one day will do that in front of all the camera. Okay, guys, the truth is, I am not Elon Musk.
There is the little little frog inside the face, like moving everything. That
would be awesome, man.
That would be super funny. I have a weird array of correlated videos here.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. Like, why are all these things correlated to each other? But yeah, what do you want to know?
Like strange algorithm power here. Guys, let us know if you want us to go over some more news or to do a little bit of this sort of type of format of videos. We love to talk about this stuff. We can just go on forever. But it's also interesting to see what is happening nowadays with the new releases, and just to connect the dots of the
Help
possibilities.
us connect the dots, guys.
Just ask for the Federal Galactation.
Federal Galactication.
Federal Galactication amongst us. Okay? We want to know. You want to know. We want to know. Keep us informed. Share with us all kinds of videos or whatever that we haven't seen yet. We'll see you next time. How long did we? Well, we ran for 30 minutes. Huh? Pretty decent attempt at the podcast. We'll see you later.
30 minutes of gibbering.
Ciao. Bye-bye.